huge news. Isaac's gonna update you guys.
Flight's delayed. Put in some booze in the background.
He made a long story short, but I'm gonna make a short story long. I already had a hectic, chaotic morning. I literally showed up to the airport with wet hair because I hadn't washed my hair in a week. So I had to wash it this morning. I got no sleep last night, woke up at 2 a.m. to a text that said, because originally we were supposed to board the plane at, no, our original flight, we boarded the plane at like 6:30. Our flight got delayed and it said, oh no, now you board at 7. And I was like, okay, and so I was staying up to see if it updated, and then it got pushed back to 8. I was rushing this morning, came to the airport, and then we were sitting there and the plane wasn't here. The plane got here and then they were like, oh, we're about to put you guys on the plane. And then I got a notification that our flight was delayed until 11:45. It's not even 9 a.m. yet. Oh, it just turned 9 a.m. We're just sitting in these chairs, waiting. Okay guys, I forgot to tell you guys this, but it has something to do with my reading for this week. I'm doing a voice memo so that it has better audio in the video. I forgot to update you guys. I told you guys that it was chaotic this morning when I was trying to leave for the airport, and I ended up forgetting my Kindle. I am unfortunately going to be an iPad kid this weekend. I do have the Kindle app on my iPad, so we're just gonna read it on this. The only thing that
may I have your attention, please?
There is literally a bookstore literally like a few steps to my right. Also, this angle is not my most flattering and I'm gonna try to ignore it. I have a few books downloaded to read, and randomly I was like, why do I kind of want to reread the Song of Achilles? I don't know. Downloaded, I have Talking at Night. I actually started this on the way back home to Indiana, but then I never finished it. I think I literally got like 3% through it. It was not a lot. I also have One Day downloaded because it was the 1-year anniversary of the TV show coming out. People were talking about it again and it gave me FOMO. It gave me FOMO all over again, so I have that downloaded. We have like an hour left of waiting before we can board the plane, so I might go look at the bookstore. We're still at the airport. Guess what time it is? We don't know if this is gonna be a funny story yet. Like if we're gonna make it there or not.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We've been here since 7 a.m. And now we're waiting on bags because essentially what happened was they kept delaying our plane like 1 to 2 hours. They kept texting me saying that it was delayed because they had to do testing on the plane. Then somebody forgot a part for said testing, and I guess it takes 40 minutes to travel through the airport to go get said part. Then the testing took a long time, then the plane needed fuel. So we were sitting around.
For the Southwest passengers, I have oversized items such as golf clubs.
Then we were supposed to board at like 12:20, then it was like 1:20, then it was like 2:20, and then the captain came out and he was like, sorry guys, I can't fly this plane because I would run out of like, he said he can only work 12 hours, so he would run out of flight time mid-air because since it was a non-stop flight. Me and Isaac are trying to find out if this one flight, it won't let us book it on the app, but we're gonna see if we can go up to the desk, and it's like the one flight that could even get us there in time because basically we're in LA for Isaac. He has his own stuff going on, and we can't get there super late. It would be a moot point to get there super late. If we get on this flight, it is a non-stop flight. However, there's very, very limited seating, so we would not be sitting together, and the only seats that are left are all middle seats. So we would be not sitting together and we would be sitting in a middle seat. So that's how our travel days are. We've been here since how many hours ago?
So long. They just kept delaying it, but they should have just said it was canceled. We could have booked another
And we
flight.
could have booked another flight hours ago is my thing. I've been looking for hours because I was, at one point when our flight got delayed for the second time, I almost looked at you and said, do you just want to cancel this flight, try to get our bags, and then just go on another flight? Good morning, everybody. I am whispering. I'm going to try to do some editing magic, but everybody is asleep. It's 7 a.m. here, 9 a.m. in Texas, 10 a.m. in Indiana, and me and Isaac have been in Indiana for the past week, so we're a little bit all over the place, but I have been up since 4:30 California time, and nobody else is up. So I've just been sitting here, and then I ended up taking some of like my vitamins and stuff on an empty stomach. So I had to DoorDash some food because I feel awful when I eat those on an empty stomach. I don't even know why I did it. But I'm sitting here in the main living room at the Airbnb. There's no TV in this one. We have a chaotic travel story for you guys that I'll tell when everybody's up. I've been trying to wake Isaac up because literally, as I think I alluded to, or I said, we're here for Isaac's business. He has some stuff going on in LA this weekend, so we're here for that. And literally one of the ways that he convinced me to come is that I love Bill's coffee. A few months ago when I was in California, I tried it for the first time. Did something to me internally. Always grew up watching Emma Chamberlain get Bill's, and their iced mocha tesora is so good. I've been trying to wake Isaac up for us to go get it because luckily there's a Phil's 2 miles from here, except where we're at, it's in the hills, so it's very, I'll say all of this later when I'm not annoyingly whispering into the phone. But I'm about to watch some YouTube. I'm giving Isaac a little bit more time, and then we're waking up and going to Phil's, and then maybe we'll chat about it then and show him trying Phil's for the first time because it's so good. I'm gonna get something in my system because usually I've ate by now at home. Like I said, it's like 9 a.m. in Texas, 10 a.m. in Indiana. I usually eat very early in the morning, so I am hungry. That's what I'm gonna do while I watch old Emma Chamberlain videos because that's the mental headspace I've been in. Let's go get coffee. Okay, we're gonna do a fun little get ready with me while I tell you how this trip has went for me so far. I don't like, my hair is natural right now. Right now it's in a claw clip, and I don't know if I should just put like a different claw clip in or if I should do a slick back. I really don't know. Maybe a claw clip, since my outfit's kind of giving 90s. I literally have this button up from the Gap. So the travel experience thus far. So me and Isaac were vlogging through yesterday where we were in the airport and we got there and then our flight got delayed like 2 hours, and then, you know, we were keeping you guys updated with that. So essentially what happened was we were there and they just kept delaying the flight. So they would be like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna board. So basically they told us that we could not get on the plane because the plane was, the reason that it first got delayed was because it was late coming from wherever it was coming from. It was like a red-eye flight, and so when it came in they had to perform some tests on it, so then that caused another delay, and then there was another delay because the people forgot the parts that they needed to perform one of the tests. We told you guys all of that, I think. So then they're performing the tests and they just keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back with like little to no explanation. They're just saying that it's for this testing, and I'm like, that's fine because I'm not about to get on a plane. That does not work. Me and Isaac are just waiting because this is honestly our only option because he had one of his work things last night that he had to get to, so we needed to be in LA. Eventually the pilot comes out. I think we told you guys this when we were trying to get our bags from baggage claim, that the pilot came out and he was like, oh, I've basically ratcheted my amount of flight hours, so I can't fly this plane, because it was a non-stop flight to LA. So everybody's like, so then everybody gets in line to, you know, change their flight or cancel it. And for some reason, me and Isaac were, while we were in line, we were looking up other flights. We saw the one on American Airlines that was another non-stop that I think at this point it was close to 3 o'clock. It was like still 2 at this point, and keep in mind we had been at the airport since 7 a.m. so at this point it was 3 p.m. We're looking at it, we get up there, and instead of telling, I don't know why we did this, it made everything a whole lot more stressful. Instead of saying, hey, we saw this American Airlines flight, can you put us on it, we tell her to cancel it. We tell her to cancel everything, and then we were like, yeah, we'll go back down to baggage claim and get our bags. And that took like, how long do you think it took for us to get our bags from baggage claim?
Hour at least.
It literally took an hour, and me and Isaac are looking at this American Airlines flight that takes off at 4:40. At this point, we're at like, it's like 3:20, and we're still waiting for the bags, and eventually we get them, and it's like 3:30 when we get the bags. The plane starts boarding at 4:05. So we get our bags and go back upstairs to the ticketing counter because you couldn't book it on the app since it was like within 2 hours. It was like you would have to go book it at the airport, which I've never done in my life. Go up to the counter and the guy's like, okay, we can get you on the flight. There's no seats next to each other. So me and Isaac basically, we're going to have to sit like both in middle seats. Keep in mind, like we said, literally this plane at this point starts boarding in about what, 15 minutes, and we have to go back through security and then get to the gate. But our boarding group was like very low, so we were like, we can totally make it. By the way, not something that I do very well with. I'm somebody that likes to get to the airport 2 hours early just to make sure I have time accounted for everything. We're doing all of this, we check our bags, we go through security, and we get on the flight last night that was also a non-stop flight, and it left at almost 5 p.m. and then it got here in LA at like 6, and then once we got in LA, we waited probably like 30 to 40 minutes for our bags at baggage claim, had to go get the rental car, and then Isaac had to go do his thing. So then I came back to the Airbnb by myself, and this Airbnb is very beautiful, has a lot of windows and doors. They're doors. They're actually not windows, they're all doors. And so that was a little stressful for me because I was walking around making sure all of them were locked, because I was convinced that somebody, like if you guys have ever watched the first Scream movie, like how all of her house is like those glass doors, that was scaring the crap out of me. Then this morning I wake up at 4:30, as you guys saw. I think I already talked to you guys a little bit about that. And then I really wanted to get my Phil's coffee, and I really just kind of wanted to drive for a bit because we're like in the Hollywood Hills. That's like where this house is at, so it's very hilly, and I just kind of wanted to like get out for a second. I was feeling very claustrophobic for some reason, so I was like, I'll go drive and get the Phil's. And the thing was, is when I got Phil's a few months ago, I wasn't staying in LA. I was staying, I don't even know what that area is actually, but it had a parking lot. I did not remember that everywhere you go in LA, it's street parking. So I eventually make it to Phil's this morning. This is why I didn't film after my cute little like, let's go get coffee. I circle the block probably like 5 to 6 times looking for any parking, and I'm getting very overwhelmed because if you know me, I don't do very well with stuff like that. I'm like, there's no parking spot. I'm circling 5 to 6 times. I can't find anywhere to park. So then I park illegally, which is just, but I literally had mobile ordered these coffees and they had been done. And I was like, all I have to do is just run in here and grab them. Like, they're on the counter. So I hurry up and I park, and then, well, it wasn't illegally. It just like wasn't, I don't know. I saw a bunch of people do it before I did it, so then I pulled over and did it. That's not a reason to do something. Anyway, I go in, and honestly, the way I'm telling this, it doesn't sound, in the moment, this was so huge to me because I was just so overwhelmed. Like, tell you guys, my anxiety was through the roof to deal with this at this moment. I grab them and then I finally leave. And then I grabbed a coffee for everybody. And so I had the, what do you call that? Drink carrier? I had the drink carrier on my lap because I couldn't just put it in the seat next to me. Go to turn because it's like this, it's hills to get back up. I go to turn and one of the coffees, actually mine, I just took this one, ends up because they put little of those tabs on them, it completely falls over onto me, onto the brand new jean shorts that I had just got and my sweatshirt. And so I was really, the overwhelmedness reached a new height when that happened to me. And I literally was like, okay, yeah, no, that's just how this day's gonna go. That's completely cool and fine. And then I came back home and I was trying to get these stains. Huh? Oh, thank God. Isaac got me this other day when we went to Abercrombie. And it smells really good. It's very, literally like Isaac could put that on or I could put that on. Yes, thank you. Anyway, that's how the day was going and that's how our travel day went yesterday. So, just going up from here, honestly. I don't even know what we're about to do, but I'm just kidding. I've got ice mochachosaurus. It's good. Then I'm confused because this place was trying to do buy one get one free. I'm so confused on how much food we have. Water's essential. Oh, I was saying they're essential, but I didn't realize that that's the name of this brand. Let's see what this is. Not used. I guess I'm gonna have to hold it. My life is literally so hard. Updates. I feel like I haven't talked to the camera literally since yesterday whenever we were leaving for the day. So now I'm trying to remember everything that happened because I'm forgetting. But I told you guys about our travel nightmare yesterday as I was getting ready. And then what did we do yesterday? I don't know. It's been a whole lot. But also, I have blacked out for most of it. I don't know. Half the time, I'm like not really paying attention. First of all, what I'm doing right now is I'm sitting in the car by myself. I have my iPad because we established at the beginning I forgot my Kindle, so I've been reading on my iPad. So I've been carrying this around all day. Isaac is currently doing his thing right now, and I, have crippling social anxiety and it's hard for me to meet new people, so I was like, I'll just sit in the car. I'll just sit in the car while you do this. No big deal. I'll read or watch a YouTube video or even fall asleep. Literally one of those three options. So that's what I'm doing right now. But back to yesterday. So yesterday there was a event that everybody wanted to go to. I went ahead and tagged along. We go into this event and basically we had been walking around for maybe like 5 minutes inside of it, and then I see like there's this crowd of people coming towards us and I'm just like staring ahead and I kind of see security, and before the security can make it to me, I kind of bump shoulders like with somebody and I was like, who's this crowd of people? I look up. It's Ben Affleck. Like, everyone that I'm with, I was like, guys, is that Ben Affleck? Like, like you just need somebody else to confirm. And nobody was listening to me, as always. I'm like, that is Ben Affleck. And so, saw him. Then we left that event, and I'm trying to remember everything we did yesterday. I think we just, like, went around places in LA, like we went, I think it was like Melrose, like all of those types of places, because there's like a few stores and people that they know. Like, genuinely, when I tell you guys, I'm kind of blacking out and forgetting what we even did yesterday. We ended up going back to the Airbnb for a little bit because we had like some time before dinner. And the thing about being here is like right now it's 5 o'clock here, but it's 8 o'clock at home, as I feel like I keep saying. So when it gets like to dinner time, I'm very like conflicted because I'm like, it's like 8 o'clock at home. I don't know, just like one of those things. I was so tired. Like right now I'm so tired because usually I honestly retire. I retire into my bed at like 8:30. So I was so tired that I ended up falling asleep. And while I was asleep, everybody was trying to find somewhere to make dinner reservations at, but like nobody was taking reservations because I try to explain this. You cannot just call day of and be like, hey, reservation please, especially in LA. So I fell asleep. I wake up. You guys, I wake up. And the thing about everybody that is here is nobody has been as chronically online as your girl. Okay, nobody's as chronically online as I am. So I wake up and unknowingly, they just found like one of the restaurants that was by us. They were like, okay, we're going to go to Saddle Ranch at 8:30. We got a reservation. I was like, Saddle Ranch? Like that is the like influencer, like that is, y'all know, I feel like a lot of y'all know Saddle Ranch is just, look it up, it's like Hype House 2020, all the influencers going to Saddle Ranch, like everybody. And I was like, y'all, I do not want to go there. We went to Saddle Ranch. Everything was fine for like the first 30 minutes that we were in there, and then all of a sudden people start walking in and they like push this table together. Bryce Hall walks in, like all of the like, what is it, Josh Richards, Anthony, like Griffin Johnson, all of those type of people, like Dixie D'Amelio. All of these people walk in with huge, like they have at least 2 people with these huge like movie cameras, huge lights. Like it, when I tell you guys it was illuminating the restaurant, because it was dark inside of the restaurant, they're illuminating the restaurant, just panning everybody, they're recording everybody. Then they have like flashlights at the table, they're all talking in the middle of this restaurant, and I was like, what is going on? And they're actually like, their table is like right next to where we're at, so we have a front row seat to this show. And we were sitting there for such a long time because things just got so hectic, I think because of when they came in, like things got a little all over the place, so we couldn't get the check or even get the waiter over or anything. And then when we were like, yeah, can we get the check, they were like, well, do you guys have time for a surprise? And we were like, oh, okay. Like, I think we were just all very, very confused at this point. They drop off at our table, like 3 different desserts, a huge brownie, huge like pan cookie with ice cream and s'mores. When we left, because we ended up leaving, obviously, when we left, they were like, we are so sorry. Because when I tell you guys, like, this was causing a ruckus inside of a already loud restaurant, like the huge lights, the huge cameras, like it was something, I have genuinely never seen anything like that. I always feel like I'm very embarrassed, and there's not a big deal about it, like vlogging in public and stuff, like even just with a little camera, I'm like, like I just feel like, am I disturbing other people? Do I look whatever? And like I said, not that there's anything wrong with it at all, and not even critiquing anybody, but it was so crazy to see like huge cameras, huge lights, crazy. So that's what happened yesterday. Kind of a crazy day. But anyway, then you guys saw me and Isaac woke up today, and we just had a very chill morning. Honestly, Isaac woke up. I woke up a lot later, and he woke up earlier. I think he got up at around like 7, close to 8. Actually, no, we got out of bed at like 8 because we ordered in breakfast, and I woke up this morning at 6. It was like a little bit after 6 here, but that means it was like 9 a.m. at home. So it was because, again, with the time zone change, I don't know, is this boring? Anyway, with the time zone change, I ended up going to bed last night, and it was like after 1 a.m. It was like somewhere around there after 1 a.m. And so you have to think that's like 4 a.m. at home with no naps. I'm a nap queen. I take naps most days, and I haven't taken naps while I'm here, and I feel it. Like right now, I could literally take a nap. I'm so tired, and I don't know what we're gonna do after this, but like I said, so we woke up and then did a few things that they had to do today. That's kind of all that's been going on. I have a lot of guilt because I feel like I haven't been vlogging, but I feel like I'm also just so in the moment that I'm not thinking about vlogging. I feel like there's somebody over my shoulder. Like every time I look at the screen, which I'm trying not to do, I feel like I'm like, do the other part of this video to talk about what I'm reading. Currently, I'm reading Talking at Night. I have been getting this recommendation. If you guys watched my rereading some of my favorite books video, I talked about briefly in there, like somewhere in there, that I had been getting TikToks on my For You page of book recommendations. And one of them that I got multiple times was Talking at Night. One of them I got recommended, like, if you like the vibe of, it was like a certain song. It was that Hosier Do I Want to Know remix. And then another one was like, oh, if you liked normal people. So I ended up getting it on the Kindle, and that's what I've been reading. I've been slowly going through it because I've just been reading it when like nobody was up, and like I was reading it this morning. It's currently halfway through, which I didn't even plan this that way. I literally didn't even know I was halfway through. What I think of it so far, here's when I know that I like a book, even subconsciously, like even if I'm not like, ooh, like saying I love it, I know I subconsciously love a book when I am annotating a lot inside of it. Like right now, obviously I'm reading on my iPad. I've been annotating so much in this book. Like there have been so many lines that I'm just annotating. Really just thinking about, honestly, this relationship dynamic is so interesting because they are both equally enamored with each other from their first meeting, but the way they go about it, like they have never even like, wait, no, maybe they've kissed like once, but they've known each other for a long time now, and they feel this tension and like their relationship, I don't know how to put this into words. Like that's what's so frustrating, is that I don't know how to put it into words, but it is so interesting and unique. I feel like the dynamic, because even if you've read normal people, like it's a little toxic, and I guess you could, but like I don't see this toxic in a way that you could see normal people being toxic. Like I feel like there's definitely some like miscommunication and not like saying real feelings, which is the complaint to toxicity. But also I feel like there's a really big explanation for both of them having this miscommunication. It's so interesting because they are so deeply enamored with each other and care about each other and think about each other all the time, but they are not together and they never have been. Like it's so crazy. But basically you're following Rosie and you're following Will. And Will meets Rosie one night because they're at like this like bonfire. He is really good friends with her twin brother. So you're just following the story of them. I think it assumably, like I said, assumably, I don't know, that this is going to take place like over some years, because when it said that it was like normal people, like that's just the kind of vibe that you get. And it's already been like over a year already in this like timeline, so like going on 2 years of like actual content that we've got of them knowing each other and being in each other's lives. So it's very interesting, but I can share a few annotations with you guys if you guys want. And I also color code them, so like I don't know if you guys can see like right there how it's blue, then pink. Pink is like the sweet romantic things that happen between them. Blue is sad because there's a lot of emotional stuff and even like mental health and a lot of emotional things discussed in this book. Yellow is like important moments slash like maybe funny. Orange is also like things that stand out. Right here a quote says, he listens to her breathing and thinks of her awake and looping, obsessive and hurting and trying to cope, and the love he feels is bigger than anything he's felt before, bigger than his anger and his pain, his desire and his fury, and this to him is entirely new, and the right thing he knows is to keep it to himself. That's what we're dealing with here. Like that type of like, what do you want to call that? Like just not thinking that you're deserving of the love that you feel for somebody. Like that's kind of what we deal with like our male main character Will. And then Rosie's going through a lot. It's definitely a little bit of like people pleasing and putting others over herself constantly, especially her mom, and never really looking out for her and like what's going to make her happy. She tells Will in one of their first like meetings, like when they're talking for the first time, that she loves music and would want to go to music school, but she goes to Oxford instead and didn't even apply to music school because like she knows that that's what her mom wanted her to do. I read this earlier before we left, and I literally was like, a pair of sunglasses that flick high at the edges, and Will tells her, makes her look like a bug. She puts them back and he says no, in a good way, and she asks him how looking like a bug can be a good thing, and he lists all of the beautiful insects he can think of right there in the aisle of a sunglass hut. Butterflies and queen bees and dragonflies, and she says okay, and takes them to the till. Something about that is so deeply romantic to me. I don't know. I don't know. One of their meetings with his grandma, Rosie, she says. Rosemary. That's pretty, thanks. I never liked it much. It reminds me of that rag doll on the canal boat. There's nothing ragdoll about you, his gran says. And Rosie smiles at her, and it is like the sun breaking through the trees. Will feel something move inside him, and then, if it hadn't already been shifting like an anchor catching in place. A bit of a problem, he says, and she laughs, and it is the best sound, and his heart skitters behind his ribs, and he turns to face her, puts his hands on her waist, and she stops laughing immediately. And there's just a lot of moments, too, something about this author's writing, that you can just, like, so clearly see, like, in your mind when she writes these. I can just see them, the characters, so clearly in my mind. Well, not the actual characters, because we've been over this, how I said I cannot imagine characters to save my life. I cannot imagine like what they look like or anything. I love this author's writing because it not condones, that's not the right word. She's able to make the imagery so sharp in my brain where I can see these moments playing out like a film. Like, it's so good. The writing is a little bit similar, if you're gonna say in comparison to Sally Rooney, where there's no quotation marks. There's no quotation marks. So I will say, if that's something that keeps you from Sally Rooney because you just kind of can't adjust to it, I'm that person that, I don't know if it's because like modern day with texting, people just like do not use punctuation, that I am so used to not reading like quotation marks, punctuation, or anything, so it doesn't really bother my brain that much. This author also kind of writes in that very unique writing style of the no quotations, and also just the way like sentences and interactions and time and point of views flow. It's very much giving Sally Rooney. So if you also like that uniqueness, you might like this book. So far, my feelings on it, I am really loving this book. Like, I was thinking on this earlier that I also know when I love a book because I'm annotating it a lot, but also like there was a moment where I have my feet in the hot tub, Isaac is sitting next to me, and he's doing work on his computer, and then like we moved to the chair, and I was just like taking a moment, taking in my surroundings, and like thinking of like how this would be described like within the book that I'm reading. And I feel like when I am putting myself out like that, like almost like what, like outer body, and even just like thinking about the book when I'm not reading it, I know that it's leaving like a lasting impression on me, and it's just very unique to me. It's exactly what I was looking for, where it's romance, but it's emotional, and it's fiction. Like, it's just more of like a fiction book. It's very much what I'm in the mood for right now. I'm loving it. I am gonna sit in here for however longer that they take to do what they're doing. That's what we've been up to. Sorry if this vlog hashtag sucks. I don't know if it does. Probably. I don't know. I'm also the biggest critic of myself, so I feel like I can't say that like in a genuine manner because I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna continue reading Talking at Night. We actually leave tomorrow really early to go back home, and then I'm going back to Indiana. My life is really chaotic right now is another thing. I feel like you guys have been very much like on the outside. One, this is so random, such a random tangent before we hop off here, but I feel like there's just been a lot going on, and I feel like I really separated myself from sharing things on social media because there's just been some things that have happened, and I have realized kind of what sharing things does, and like assumptions and like things that are very hard to deal with. So I've taken a step back from kind of sharing personal life things, and I don't really talk about my personal life at all, which maybe some of you noticed, maybe you haven't. I really don't know. That's another thing that sucks when you are a content creator, is I try to really like go through these things and comb out like how I want things to be, but like I said, I'm my own worst critic. So it's very hard to kind of look at my content and try to gauge what do you want to say, entertainment, enjoyment of it, because I hate myself. Oh, that's too real. Maybe I'll do an updated video, like a life update, maybe in like a month or 2 or 3 when things calm down. But honestly, the start of this year, it's just been so hectic and chaotic, and so many things are going on, and I feel like it's been that way since before the year started. But things going on with like myself, like the way that I'm feeling inside, that I've been trying to get through and all that. I don't know. You guys probably don't care. Because this is like supposed to be a fun, lighthearted, like what I'm reading and what I'm doing, and it's like LA and it's supposed to be fun, so I won't bore you.